Hello fellow space engineers, this is Marcelo from MTF Anvil Gaming, and today I want to talk to you about the Anvil Class landing platform dock. Landing platform dock, in naval terms of present-day navies, it's a ship that actually acts as a platform dock for launching hovercraft, amphibious vehicles, and VTOL craft or helicopters. Now, I tried to tweak the concept a little bit, and what I mean with landing platform dock is that this ship can actually dock with landing platforms. And what you see right here, these are the landing platforms. They are technically buildings that you can use to build a base down on the surface of a planet. Now, this ship, it came out from an idea that I had of a role-playing campaign in our server in which we would go with a similar vessel or this kind of carrier, conquering planet after planet, clearing them out from pirates. We would build up bases, use land vehicles. It's just for fun, because in reality this is a ship that tries to blend role-playing aspects with actual gameplay, the way that is done in Space Engineers. It's in a server you will often see ships that are like more thrown together, or depending on what you find, it's you're not going to find like this kind of refinement, or let's say you know specific designs for each task. Players may build a transatmospheric ship and land on a planet and have like a single vessel for all of the necessities. So this was more just me trying to play Command and Conquer in Space Engineers. So moving on, the ship has an observation deck down here at the front. It has airlocks, 9 of them, to connect to the landing platforms. They also serve to refuel them. It has a dropship hangar, adequate AAA, is basically a utility ship. It's not a combat ship. It has resource drop-off. This is an idea that I took from Homeworld, in which the carriers have a specifically designed resource drop-off, and this connects directly to the main cargo hold of the ship, which in turn goes to the refineries and the assemblers that you see here partially exposed, just for gribbling purposes. And a touch and go landing pad. The navigation bridge is located at the back. It has a total of 4 FTL drives. It needs, let's say, a considerable amount of FTL drives to be able to jump with all this mass. An attachment point for a jump ring, because of what I just said. It comes with a tug. This is the Tugger B, and this tug can project and build off from here. This is the welder array. It has the exact size to 3D print these platforms. Now, in case one of your bases gets overrun by Cyberoids or by dogs, or I don't know, an enemy faction, you can just replenish in space using your mining drones or whatever and print out a new one. It also has the capacity to carry Anders Long, an Atlas heavy dropship, which in turn carries 4 land vehicles. So as you can see here, this is the full package. It's a ship that you can you need a big faction to operate, and especially dedication, people wanting to roleplay and do the whole strategy gaming thing going on a planet. Now let me quickly talk to you about each of these individual landing platforms that I have yet to finish though. So as you can see here, they're designed to dock directly on this airlock. They even have this space here so you don't burn the whole of the ship. And let's begin on this side. This is a MASH unit. It has a single med bay and a few cryopods. Perhaps this is the most useful one. This is the refinery, and is one that you may want to keep mobile. You can actually move it from ore deposit to ore deposit with some mining vehicles that can dock sideways, or that can land, depending on if you build one of those like harvester type vehicles that grazed the ground with the minerals, or a full-on flying mining vehicle, so you can dock them both there. This is an oxygen concentrator. This is Seukonen's idea, and this works for, you can only use this, let's say, in those alien planets or those modded planets that have a toxic atmosphere but do contain oxygen. So this is like the life support of the base that you're building. And this is an assembler farm. I have yet to come out with a factory, or like the foundry, the 3D print welder array that you see there in this form factor. So for now, the assemblers are here, and you basically concentrate all the components here, and then you move them to the welders or to the construction drones that you use. Then we have, of course, one really important, the power plant. This contains a single large reactor, a battery bank, and solar panels. Then we have one that is kind of like a role-playing module, but that I foresee, and that's why I want to show it to you. Oops, yeah, that's an issue with the doors to face them. I foresee it being useful later on. This is the barracks. It has, a tiny mess hall, the shower, toilets, necessities, and the dorm. And if eventually, the game gets kind of like medieval engineers, in which, what's happening here? You can actually grow food, or I don't know, maybe even hand animals. You can actually transform this one into something that is useful. Maybe a hydroponics farm or something like that. And then, last but not least, we have the command center. This is meant to be the main link of communications with the outside, with the ships that are in orbit. It has radio antennas, a beacon, and it's the only one that has 2 laser antennas besides the oxygen concentrator. So this way it can use 1 laser antenna to connect to the ship in orbit, and then this other laser antenna to connect to all of the other modules. Now, the idea there being that you may not want to have, the radio antenna broadcasting, so you may want some more stealthy communications for defensive purposes. Now, I'm going to be releasing this as a collection in the workshop, and as a parting image, I'm going to give you a little tour of the inside, and I want to show you something that I consider kind of like a personal achievement, and is cramming all of this into the crew compartment, and yet have access to every section of the ship. From here you access the Togger B, and from those 2 doors you saw that I access the rest of the vessel. It even has this secluded med bay, and on this kind of like mezzanine for the cryopods. And from here you access the bridge, and all around, of course, the access airlocks for the landing platforms. As you can see, it's fully pressurized. The ship at this point is fully vanilla. I decided to leave it as that, so maybe you feel like playing around, trying it on your server, so you don't have to, deal with the whole mods disappearing and clanging through the ship. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and let me know what you think, and I can wait for your comments.